The rain came down in sheets that night, hammering the cracked roof of the old pickup truck parked by a half-forgotten gas station off Highway 9. Inside, Ethan Gray sat behind the steering wheel, his 5-year-old daughter Mia fast asleep in the back seat, wrapped in a faded pink blanket. The world saw Ethan as just another quiet mechanic, a widowed single dad struggling to make ends meet. But behind those calm, tired eyes, he carried a secret. For the past year, he'd been living undercover, hiding his identity from people who once destroyed his life. Once, he'd been a decorated detective, a whistleblower. He exposed corruption inside the police force, and in doing so, lost everything. His wife, his career, his safety. So, he packed what little he had, took his daughter, and disappeared into small-town anonymity. That night, as he fueled up his truck, he noticed a young woman sitting near the station's edge, soaked from the rain, shivering beneath a flickering streetlight. Her face was hidden behind tangled hair, and her arms were wrapped protectively around her belly. She was pregnant. Ethan paused, watching her for a moment. Every instinct in him, both as a father and a man who'd seen too much suffering, told him something was wrong. He approached slowly, trying not to startle her. "Miss, you okay out here?" The woman looked up, her eyes swollen from crying, her face pale, almost ghostly. "I'm fine," she whispered. "Please, just go." Ethan noticed bruises along her wrist, fresh ones, and a torn designer jacket that didn't fit the rest of the picture. This wasn't some drifter. She was someone from a world far above this lonely place. He crouched down, lowering his voice. "You're clearly not fine. You'll get sick out here. Come on, I've got a truck, some coffee. You don't have to talk if you don't want to." For a moment, she hesitated. Then, quietly, she nodded. Minutes later, she sat inside the warm pickup, trembling as steam rose from the paper cup in her hands. Mia stirred in the back seat and blinked up at the stranger. "Hi," she mumbled sleepily. "You look sad." The woman smiled weakly. "I guess I am." Ethan watched the two in the mirror, his little girl with her innocence, and the woman whose eyes carried too many untold stories. "My name's Ethan," he said gently. "That's Mia. You got a name?" She hesitated before answering. "Claire. Just Claire. No last name." Over the next hour, as the rain poured outside, Claire told bits and pieces of her story, never everything, just enough for Ethan to understand she was running from someone. She said she'd been with a man who wanted to control every part of her life. That when she told him she was pregnant, he'd changed, turned cold, violent. She escaped with nothing but her purse and the clothes she wore. Ethan clenched his jaw. He'd heard too many stories like this before, and he hated every one of them. "You're safe now," he said finally. "I know a motel not far from here. I'll pay for a room, make sure you get some rest." But Claire shook her head. "I can't go anywhere with my name. He'll find me." Something about the way she said it made Ethan realize this was bigger than a broken relationship. Still, he didn't press her. He simply drove her and Mia to a nearby diner that stayed open all night. The owner, an older woman named May, knew Ethan well. He asked quietly for a favor, a safe place for Claire to stay in the staff room. The next few days, Claire stayed in town. Ethan helped her where he could, finding her clothes, food, and making sure she saw a doctor. Mia adored her, constantly chatting or drawing little pictures to make Miss Claire smile. For the first time in weeks, Ethan's home felt alive again. He didn't ask questions, and Claire, in return, didn't offer explanations. But in small ways, they began to heal each other. One evening, as they sat watching the sunset from Ethan's porch, Claire placed a hand on her belly and whispered, "You don't even know how much you've helped me." Ethan smiled softly. "I didn't do much." "Yes, you did," she replied. "You saw me, when no one else did." He looked away, hiding the emotion in his eyes. "Everyone deserves a chance to start over." She turned to him, eyes glistening. "Even you?" That question struck deeper than she knew. But peace never lasts forever. One morning, while Ethan was fixing a customer's truck, a black SUV rolled into town. Men in suits stepped out, polished, intimidating. They weren't locals. They went straight to the diner asking questions. About a woman, pregnant, traveling alone. Ethan's instinct screamed danger. He called May, who quickly hid Claire in the basement. But when he arrived, Claire was shaking, terrified. "They found me," she said, voice trembling. "Ethan, if they find me, they'll take everything." Who are they? He asked. She finally told him the truth. Her name wasn't Claire. It was Clara Wexler, CEO of Wexler Industries, one of the biggest tech firms in the country. The man she'd been running from. Her fiancé, Damien Shaw, her company's COO, who'd tried to seize control of her fortune when he found out she was pregnant. When she refused to sign over her shares, he had her abducted, but she escaped before they could silence her. And now, he was hunting her. Ethan was stunned. The quiet, humble woman he'd brought home from a gas station was a millionaire CEO. But what shocked him more was how human she was, fragile, kind, and brave despite the fear that haunted her. He made a choice. He wouldn't let her face this alone. That night, when the men came back, Ethan was ready. They followed him, thinking he'd lead them to Clara. But Ethan, the simple mechanic, still had the instincts of a detective. He led them down the wrong road, into a trap. Within minutes, local law enforcement, honest ones this time, surrounded the men. When the officers took them away, one of the kidnappers snarled, "You have no idea who you're protecting. She'll ruin you." Ethan's eyes burned with quiet fury. "She already saved me." Days later, Clara finally contacted her trusted lawyer and the authorities. Damien was arrested for fraud, conspiracy, and attempted murder. The truth made headlines. CEO found alive after mysterious disappearance, helped by local single father. The world suddenly wanted to know about Ethan Gray. Reporters camped outside his home. TV stations called. But Clara, despite her wealth and power, stayed humble. She visited Ethan and Mia one last time before returning to her city life. "I don't know how to thank you," she said quietly, standing on his porch. "You already did," he replied with a smile. "You reminded me what it means to trust again." She looked at him for a long moment. "If you ever need anything, ever." He nodded. "Just take care of that little one of yours." Months passed. Ethan went back to his quiet life. Until one day, a black car stopped in front of his workshop. Out stepped Clara, holding a tiny baby girl. Mia squealed with joy. "She's so small." Clara laughed softly, then looked at Ethan. "Meet Hope," she said. "I named her after what you gave me." Tears welled in Ethan's eyes as he held the baby. "You saved me when I'd lost everything," she whispered. "Now, let me return the kindness." She handed him an envelope, inside, ownership papers for a fully equipped auto shop, with his name on it. "This isn't charity," Clara said gently. "It's gratitude. Because when the world saw a broken woman, you saw a person." Ethan's voice cracked. "You didn't have to." "I did," she interrupted softly. "Because people like you remind the rest of us what real wealth looks like." Years later, that same gas station, where it all began, was rebuilt and renamed Gray and Hope's Diner, owned by Ethan and Clara together. Customers would sometimes notice a framed photo by the counter, a man, a woman, and two little girls laughing under a sunset. No one knew the full story behind it, but those who asked would hear the same answer from the locals. Greater than, it started on a rainy night, when a single dad stopped to help a stranger crying at a gas station. Narrator's closing line: "Sometimes, the people who seem lost are the ones sent to guide us back home." Ethan thought he was saving a stranger, but in truth, they saved each other. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because one act of kindness can change a life forever. Heart.